Coach Jet here, and I am excited to bring you guys an awesome video. This is really a request, but today we are talking about how to edit legs in Photoshop. Super easy tutorial. I'm gonna show you my process when it comes to editing legs so I can get a clean image. And as you see, this is the before and this is the after. We're gonna zoom in a little bit more on the legs. This is the before and this is the after. Now, before we get straight into it, I'm going to let you know that I do have a free editing video. If you want to know how to retouch this full images just like this, let me show you the before. Let me show you the after. I have a free editing video so you can retouch skin better. Look, editing is probably one of the biggest top 3 problems of photographers of why they are not confident in their work. So I have that free training for you. Click the link in the description below. But also too, I have my skin smoothing action and my dodge and burn action free for you to use in the description. Dodge and burn, micro dodge and burn, global dodge and burn, and skin smoothing for you to use with the link in the description below. Let's get started. So like I said, this is the after, this is the before. So let's go ahead and delete this after layer, right? I never edit on the background layer. I'll always edit on a separate layer. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to come and remove all these marks on her legs, right? That's my priority because we need to prep our image. So what I use the spot healing brush, which is this brush right here. But if you've never used a spot healing brush or you don't know where it's at, it's your first time in Photoshop, you're going to come to the search bar in the top right corner. I'm using Adobe Photoshop 2022. Type in spot healing brush. Boom, it's going to pop up. It's going to show you where it's at right there. Got it. But if you're not new to Photoshop, you've been doing this, here you go. First thing you want to do is get rid of all of these blemishes, right? So that's all I'm looking for. Any marks that should not be on her body, I'm getting rid of, right? So coming in here, getting rid of all these marks on her legs. Let's get rid of all these marks, right? All these marks. She has a lot of marks on the leg, but that's okay. That is why we have Photoshop and we create images that our clients love, right? So what you don't want to do is remove any marks that are beauty. So like her birthmarks, I'm not removing her birthmarks, right? I'm just going to remove all the marks that are like scars and etc. on her foot, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm just using a spot healing brush, making my brush the same size as the mark, and I'm just gonna circle around it. Same thing here. Just using my spot healing brush, going around it. You know, all these big patches and etc. she may have on her knees. All right, get these marks up out of here. Let's see if we see any more. Right here. Let's see. We looking good so far. Let's go before. Let's go after. Before, after. That's step 1. Perfect. Step 2 is I'm gonna go ahead and run my micro dodge and burn, right? With my micro dodge and burn, this is what I'm going to use to create consistency between the highlights and the shadows, right? So for example, as you see, this is a super dark spot, all right? Super dark. Her knee is super dark right here. It's dark right here. Highlight, shadow, highlight. We want to make our job with our shadows and our highlights is to dodge and burn them so that this is consistent. So let me show you an example. I want to work on my dodge layer. Remember, dodge lightens, burn darkens. Dodge, lighten, burn, darken. So when you're doing micro dodge and burn, you want to use a brush, right? Want to make sure your brush is white because you're working on a black layer. You want to turn your flow down to 1, but let me show you what happens if you don't turn your flow down to 1, right? It's going to make your image destructive. That doesn't look good. So let's hit Command Z or Control Z if you're on a Mac. Command Z if you're on a Mac, Control Z if you're on a Windows. We want to go ahead and make our flow 1%, right? Because we don't want to destroy our image. And let me show you an example. So before I do all of that, what I like to do is I like to go and I want to create me a hue and saturation layer, and you get to that by going right here at this half moon. I want to put this on top of everything, right? I want to put that on top of everything. And then what I want to do, I want to drag my saturation all the way down because I want to see the inconsistencies in her legs, right? I see dark spots right here. I see darker spots right here. I see dark spots right here, light spots. So I want to drag the hue and saturation to take away all the saturation, take away all the color. That's what saturation does. It either adds color or takes away color. So I want to take away all of the color, right? I want to take away all of the color. And when I take away all of the color, what I am doing is I am going to, let's see, 1 second. Let's go ahead and close this out. I don't want the computer to run slow for you guys. Let's close that out right there. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I don't want these dark spots in her legs. So I'm going to work top to bottom. I'm dodging and I'm burning. I'm dodging, I'm burning. So the goal is to make the highlights and the shadows transition seamlessly. So what I want to do is I want to knock out any dark spots that are in the middle of light spots, right? So it's a dark spot right here and like light, highlight, but it's dark right here. And it's going to be different on your images, right? And it's also going to be different based on the eye, based on your eye, right? Based on your eye. Like your eye is going to see things, right? Like for example, right here on top of her knee, I need to knock this out, right? Let me show you a before and after. Before, after, look at her legs, before, after. So I'm just making everything seamlessly transition together. And when my burn, I'm gonna go in, it's a shadow right here, it's a highlight right here. I just wanna make this transition a little bit more seamless, right? A little bit more seamless. Making all this stuff transition seamless. I'm working top to bottom on my legs, top to bottom. As y'all see, top to bottom, I come in here, do the same thing. Just make everything seamless. Let me show y'all before and after with everything together. Before, after, stuff is looking more seamless. It's a shadow, but it's a highlight right inside of here. So what I like to do, make that seamless. Same thing up in here. This is a shadow from the plant, so we're not gonna mess with that, but we are gonna come in and just burn this a little bit more so that it's seamless. Let me take that black and white layer. Let me show y'all before, after, everything is looking more seamless. And you can do it like this. It's just easier when you have that black and white separated. So I'm gonna come in right here. I see the leg. I can make this darker so it can transition better. Same thing right in here. Now let's work on the knees, right? And the thing about the knees is that you don't want to dodge too much of the shadows out to where the knee doesn't have structure, but you do want to dodge it to where it looks better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dodge her knee. It's a dark spot right here, right? I'm just going to dodge her knee. I'm going to check it first. See if I didn't do too much. I didn't take away from her structure. No, because her structure, you can still see it right here. So I'm going to go back. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to come in. I'm going to burn this a little bit right in here. And same thing right in here. But I see a dark spot right here. See how it's leaking onto the highlight? So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to knock that right there. Same thing here. Come into her knee. Boom. It's a highlight, but this shadow, this transition is not good. So come in, boom. You want to make sure you take your time with your images because, right? Because you want to be able to send images to clients that they actually like, right? And when with them liking them, it's a super dark spot right here. And if you see, you guys, I'm not editing like super up close. I'm editing far back because I know that this is how people will see it. And I'm also just prepping the image. So since I'm prepping the image, I don't need to be up close too much. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am just coming in, knocking that out. Let me show y'all the before and after on that. You see, she had that big dark spot on her knee, a big one. So I'm just coming in and knocking that out. Oh, this is beautiful. I'm going to come in, I'm going to burn just a little bit of the knee. Burn the knee right there, boom. I'm going to come over here. I see a like slight dark spot. Slight dark spot right in there, boom. Now I'm going to come and just burn this so that this is more seamless. And what you're doing right now, you're prepping your image for skin smoothing. So since you're prepping your image for skin smoothing, and don't forget my D&B essentials are free for you. Just download them with the link below my description. And also my skin smoothing action is going to be free for you as well. So download that so it can be easier for you. You don't have to worry about creating these layers, right? So same thing on this knee. I'm gonna come in, knock this out. And with the knees, you want to keep the structure, but you don't want them to have super dark spots. So as you see right now, like I told you guys, I'm just prepping my image so that when I do my skin smoothing, I'm not moving too many highlights and shadows, right? Because skin smoothing has to do with the colors. I don't want to move the colors and be moving my highlights and shadows. I just want the skin smoothing to do its jobs and move the colors only. I don't want it to move my highlights and shadows. So I need to take care of that beforehand. And a lot of people, they don't know that. You have to prep your image first. As you see, we working down. I see a dark spot right in here. You have to prep your image first before you go ahead and start moving colors, like, you know, colors, because highlights and shadows are different from the colors of your skin. All right. So that's what I'm just doing right here. And I'm gonna show you guys a before and after. I'm working down, blending everything together. As you see, it's a shadow, then a highlight right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and burn that in because I want everything to be, I want to do as much work as I can here before I go in and, you know, make this do what it do. All right. So boom, boom. Boom. Yes, look at that. That's looking good, y'all. It's looking good. And we are almost working our way. Now I want to hit the feet. Feet. And this is important to dodge and burn because, you know, you have to work like the Bible tells you got to work like you working for God. So if you working for God, man, you can't have anything, you know. And I teach my students, like, once you start, you have to finish. So with that being said, you know, you have to finish. You have to make this happen to where, you know, this works for you. But you cannot have anything when it comes to retouching. You want to give your clients images that they actually love. So let's see it before and after with the black and white. Before, after. Oh man, before, after. Look at the knees. Look how the knees are reshaped. Let me zoom in. The knees are reshaped. Look at that. And what I'm also going to do, I'm going to look how different that is, y'all. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to remove this blemish off of her right here. I missed that. So I'm just going to take my patch tool. I'm going to circle. I'm going to drag it to what I want it to look like. Boom, gone. But look at that big difference. This is the after. This is before. My highlights and shadows are more seamless now. After, before, after, before. Now what we want to do is go ahead and delete this hue and saturation layer. And we want to make a new layer out of everything we just worked on. So that's Shift, Option, Shift Option Command E if you're on a MacBook, or Shift Alternate Control E if you on Windows. I believe. I'm sorry, my Windows users. Then what I'm gonna do is I want to show you guys how I do skin smoothing. But remember, you don't have to, so you won't forget. You can just download my skin smoothing action, which is going to be in the description below. It's going to say Jet Skin Smoothing Action, free to you to use. I want you to edit your images better, so I'm going to give it to you for free. Now, once we make that duplicate layer, we want to make another layer, right? We want to name this one Color at the bottom. And we want to name this one Texture. Right? Then let's go ahead and let's just bundle these together. Right? Let's make them in a group. So you click one, hold Shift, click the other one, hit Command or Control G on your keyboard. Let's name this Skin Smoothing. Skin Smoothing. Enter. Open it back up. Now, what you want to do is you want to turn off your texture layer, go to your color layer, go to Filter, Noise, Median. Filter, Noise, Median. And now what the median is, you may have heard of people doing Gaussian blur, but with the median, right, it's a different method that retains skin texture more. So you want to, let's bring your radius down to 1. And this is going to vary per image, but what you want to do is bring your radius over as much as you can, all the way until you stop seeing texture, right? You stop seeing texture. So that may be different from you depending on how sharp your image is or how clear it is. The more radius, the more pixels you need to use. But I would say mine's right now is 21, so I'm going to use 21. It may be different from you. You need to go off what works best from you. Now you want to click the texture layer. Turn it on. It should turn the layer back. You want to go to Image, Apply Image. Color layer should be color. Channel should be RGB. It should be subtract 100% opacity to 128. Subtract 100% opacity to 128. Hit OK. Then you want to go to the blending mode and change this from normal to linear light. It should be back to normal. Now what you want to do is you want to use your mixer brush tool. And I'm going to show you guys how to use that. But let's say it's your first time, you don't even know where that's at. You can go to the search bar, remember, top right corner, and type in mixer brush tool. It's going to pop up right here for you, and it's going to highlight it. You know, I'm using 2022. You click it, boom, selected it for you. Copy these settings down. All right. Make sure your brush is clear. Clean the brush after every stroke. Make sure you're not using any color. Custom, wet. This is going to change once you change these settings. So change these settings first. Wet is 30, load is 30, mix is 100, floor is 20. The yin yang symbol is 10, and your angle is 0. Do not have sample R layers open. Now, with the mixer brush tool, a lot of people, when they edit images, what do? You probably saw people just say, okay, we're going to take the brush and I'm just going to paint. Paint everything. Just going to paint over it. And that is the absolute wrong way to do this, because look at the legs. They look fake now. Because remember, you're playing with colors. So what you want to do, let's delete that because we don't want to send that out. All right. What you want to do, I went back too far. What you want to do with your mixer brush, you want to take your mixer brush, make it the size. I'm using a Huon editing tablet. Make it the size, right? You want to take it and blend in between the highlights and the shadows. You're not just doing like that. You want to take it and blend in between the highlights and the shadows. So what does that look like? I make my brush that size. I got a highlight and shadow. All I'm doing, remember, make sure you're on the color layer, not the texture layer. Make sure you're on the color layer. All I'm doing, take my mixer brush and I'm blending in between the highlights and the shadows. Coming over here, same thing, blending in between the highlights and the shadows. Always want to work the way of the body, right? Same thing. I'm coming on this side, blending. Up here, we can just blend this down just a little bit, not too much. See, it's a shadow right here, highlight right here. So I'm going to take my brush, make it a little smaller. I'm just going to blend. blend in between. Same thing here. Blend in between. Now, come down. It's the same thing. We have the knee, so let's work around the knee. I didn't do this part here, so highlight, shadow, blend in between. You're not blending all over, you're blending in between, right? Same thing up in here, blending around the knee, blending around the knee. And we want to come, see this is a shadow and this is a highlight. So what we want to do is blend, 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 blend. Come on the other side, blend, 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 blend. Perfect. Look at that. That looks beautiful. Come up here. We already did that. So let's come work down this knee. Sorry, this leg. Same thing on this side. Work down, work down, work down, work down, work down, work down. And we can come on the foot. The foot, we just want to scrape down the way of the foot, right? We just want to scrape down the way of the foot, right? Because the foot doesn't really have that many distinctive shadows and highlights. So I'm just scraping down, but it has one right here. So I'm going to just blend in between the two. Boom. Look at that. Let's turn that off. Turn it on. That is beautiful. Her legs are looking beautiful. Let's see how much progress we've done in general, right? Take the skin smoothing away. Take the micro dodge and burn away. Take the layer 1 away. Layer 1, micro dodge and burn, skin smoothing. Skin smoothing, micro dodge and burn, layer 1. That is beautiful. Now, the last thing we want to do is we want to run global dodge and burn, right? We want to run global dodge and burn. But before we do that, we need to make a duplicate of all the layers we worked on. So that's Shift, Option, Command E, or Shift Alternate Control E if you're on in Windows. On the global dodge and burn. Global dodge and burn. Right here. So take my dodge. I'm just going to make my brush. Remember, make sure you have a white brush because you're working on a black layer. I'm going to bring my flow up to, let's say, about 2%. And I'm just going to go across the highlights that are already there. Same thing here in the leg. Same thing there. You see the difference? Before, after, it's going to make the legs pop more. And I can just come in and burn, just shape a little bit more. Shape shadows. Get some definition on those legs. Let's work that. Before, after. I see a group. Let me see. Dodge, burn. And then what I like to do, this is a bonus tip. What I like to do is I like to run my skin glow action. So I come here, I run it. Skin glow. What I do is take my brush, bring my flow back to 100, and I just run it across. Whew. Put it on the highlights, and I can brush it here too as well. And look at that. Before, after, before, after. Bag it up a little bit. And then I can turn my opacity down to work what's best for me. So I'm going to go 65. Oh, skin popping. So let's look at all the work we've done. Right? I'm just going to group everything together. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. That's beautiful, y'all. Thank you, man. I'm Coach Jet. Remember, I have a free editing with the link in the description in my bio. I keep thinking this is Instagram, y'all. In the description, I also got my skin smoothing action description free for you. I also got my dodge and burn in the description free for you. All my D&B essentials. I'm just going to make a starter pack for you, right? I'm going to make the skin smoothing, the dodge and burn, the micro, and the global all in one pack beginner's starter kit just for you, and it's going to be free. That's in the description below. See you guys next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your homie that does photography. I'm out.